Now that you understand all the less intuitive puzzle pieces of booking flights, we're ready to get into how to actually search options and find the right fit. In this lesson, we'll be learning all about how to research and identify flight options. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand the importance of initial flight research, decipher the flight options available for booking, and manage clients and their expectations for flights. While Fora's AirDesk is here to help you provide options, we found that clients are happiest when they get the big picture overview from their own advisor. And when the advisor gives us a head start, we're able to dial in the best option for the client sooner. Doing initial due diligence solidifies your reputation as a knowledgeable advisor and protects you from having to walk back any impossibilities. Fora Flights uses a system called the GDS, or Global Distribution System, that is directly connected to the availability provided by the airlines. Ticketing in this system requires in-depth, one-on-one training. Access is not available to our advisors. Instead, we recommend using a tool called the ITA Matrix. This is a more user-friendly interface built on top of the GDS. It's owned by Google and powers Google Flight Search, but offers more specific search parameters. If learning the ITA Matrix feels overwhelming, Google Flights can typically perform searches with similar functionality and filtering. Let's look at a couple examples. An advisor receives an email from a client who wants to travel from New York to Bora Bora. I really can be flexible, anytime from July to November, with exceptions for Labor Day weekend and the Jewish holidays in October. So whenever the costs are most reasonable, that might make sense. I'm open to any airlines and leaving from any of the New York City area airports, going through any of the West Coast connection points. I'd prefer not to stop on the way more than one time, and am flexible on length of stay, anywhere from 4 to 7 nights. At initial glance, this is great. The client gave so much info in a short blurb. It's tempting to respond to this with a quick, "Great, we'll get you flight options shortly." But before responding, let's peek at the options available. We'll do a sample search here to learn about how to decipher options. Start your search on ITA Matrix at matrix.itasoftware.com. We recommend bookmarking this link. The format here is straightforward. We simply plug the client request into the fields. This client is willing to leave from any New York City area airport. I'm going to type in the city code NYC to get results from all New York City area airports. Alternatively, you can type in JFK and click here to pull what other airports are in the area. I'm going to check just LaGuardia and Newark because these others are mostly used for private aviation or very small aircraft. For the destination, we'll type in Bora Bora. You'll see that the airport auto-populates. On to dates. Because this client is very flexible, we'll select the option here to see a calendar. We can also put the preferred trip duration here as a range, 4 to 7 nights, just like the client mentioned. I always leave the number of people set at 1, but I'm going to change the class of service here to business because that's what this client typically flies. Over here, I want my calendar of best options to start in July. So we'll pick July 1st and click search. Once we plug all this in, we get this calendar back that shows the cheapest flights over the month of July. We can only see 1 month at a time here. If you wanted to check August and September, you would have to go back up here and adjust the start date. Not surprisingly, the availability gets a little better the further we go out. It's actually looking best on the weekends here. Let's look at August and we can update. All right, so it's actually looking like it's cheapest in maybe July. We won't check September for now, but we'll go back here. I'm going to click here and see how the pricing changes based on the length of stay. Let's just click 1. Okay, here are our flight options. At the top here, we can filter by carrier if we want. Down here, we can sort by price, duration, or departure time by clicking on these funnels. I usually prefer to filter by duration for a trip like this, and I'm going to click here so that the options with the shortest travel time are at the top. So now that we have our options, I see one glaring problem for our client. There are 0 single stop itineraries from New York to Bora Bora. Looking at the flight options that were returned, they all stop at LAX before continuing on to Papeete, the main Tahitian airport, then finally Bora Bora. Now I know enough to tell the client something like, "On it, we will send both options shortly. Just so you're aware, there are no single stop flight options to Bora Bora from New York City. The shortest travel time will still be 20 plus hours." Let's look at another example of where this initial research is helpful. Another client wants to travel from Columbus, Ohio to Cape Town, South Africa. I'm open to leaving any time between March 5th to 8th. I have a big meeting on March 22nd, so I want to be back in Columbus by March 20th to prepare and recover from jet lag. I am Advantage Gold with American and so would prefer to fly AA. Can you please send the best options? Before we head back to ITA Matrix, let's check if there are any other large airports within 100 miles of Columbus. An easy trick to do this is to just search Google Maps. You can do this by searching for Columbus, Ohio, then searching nearby for International Airport. You can get an idea of what airports are actually larger based on the numbers of reviews that they have. This is the main airport in Columbus. It has 5,700 reviews. This one, Rickenberger, has 600 reviews, which is actually not that many. So now let's head back to the ITA matrix. We can double check again by looking here, but you'll see that there aren't any other large airports within 80 miles of Columbus. So we'll keep our outbound airport to just this one, CMH. The destination airport is Cape Town. For the dates, let's select March 6th as the outbound date and March 20th as the return. Once we've done that, we can make some adjustments down here to account for the client's parameters. He's flexible on the outbound, so we'll include plus 1 or 2 days for the departure date. This will return outbound flights as early as March 4th, 2 days before the date we set, and as late as March 8th, 2 days after. It's not perfect since they didn't say they could leave on the 4th, but it's close. For the return, your client wants to be back in Columbus by March 20th. By changing this drop-down to arrival, we will get flights that arrive on March 20th, and we won't have to worry about figuring out how time changes are going to affect the return. This client wants to travel on American Airlines, which is part of the One World Alliance. If we wanted to, we could click on these advanced controls, but I'm not going to do so now. If we wanted to, we could use these advanced controls. I'm not going to do so now, but these menus offer powerful search options that allow you to search by specific airline, alliance, connection city, connection time, and more. The search commands are all listed right here with examples and glossary in separate tabs. The extension codes show where we can specify an alliance. In this case, I'm not going to specify alliance, even though the client has a preference. The reason is twofold. First, when you have long international flights with multiple connections, it's less likely that all the flight segments are going to be on airlines that are alliance partners. That long leg from Columbus to Johannesburg could be on American, but if there's a 1-hour flight from Johannesburg to Cape Town that isn't in the same alliance, we would miss seeing some great options. The second reason is that we just want to see what options are available. If you click search, we'll see what we get. If you look here, you'll see that the only single stop options are on United and Delta. Anything on American here is going to be a minimum of 2 stops. When we sort by duration again here, we can see that these United and Delta flights are 18 to about 20 hours long. We are now better prepared to respond to this client and help them understand their options. I would write, "Thanks for reaching out. United and Delta actually offer much better routing on these flights. They would save you 10 hours of travel time each way compared to the American options. Additionally, the United or Delta flights would only have a single layover. Any American options have 2 stops minimum. Are you okay with flying United or Delta? Let me know and we will send options shortly. This may seem overwhelming at first, but as your knowledge grows over time, looking into flights won't feel as daunting or exhausting. Being equipped to do your own initial research will save you back and forth with the air desk and allow you to get your client options sooner. Today, we learned how to research flights and what to consider when reviewing options. We also discussed the value of managing client expectations when it comes to flights. Thank you.